who received this alert. When did you get it, and what did you make of it when you first received it? So there's a tendency when we get alerts like this to first think of it as sort of a spam message. What did you think when you first got the message?
So, yes, the same thing happened with me too. I got it late at night around quarter to 12. And it said it's coming from apple.com and threats notification, which says it's a state sponsored attempt. And also warned us that it happens to those who do what they do and they are where they are. So that kind of alerted me. And before I put it out there on Twitter late night, I checked with cyber experts whether this was a genuine ID where this was coming from. Only once I received the confirmation, I put it out there because with a sense of alarm and also to alert the Home Ministry that in there is some, international state which is, interfering in our processes, they can have a look. But early morning when I opened Twitter, I saw many of opposition MPs having got this. So the question that arises is, A, who are these state actors? And who are the ones who are they attacking? They're attacking the members of the opposition. Who would want to attack the members of opposition? The ones who have a lot of answers to give to the members of the opposition. So that is why I've written to the Prime Minister, to the Home Minister.
Explain that connection. You started by initially looking at the language state-sponsored attack, thinking that it could be a foreign state. It could, in fact, Apple's own. If you go to Apple's website and they explain this, they usually use this language in reference to foreign spies. But by the morning, when you saw many of your colleagues had received similar alerts, you changed your mind, and the opposition is now blaming the government. Rahul Gandhi has even issued a sort of statement at his press conference saying, "Jitna tap karna hai kar lo," pretty much frontally accusing the government or those close to it. What is the evidence that all of you have that the government has any hand in this?
No, two things here. There was no doubt in my head that being a vocal opponent, that when I saw the message 2 days ago, late last night, and I have been getting these attempts where many people have told me that I should be careful, especially after Pegasus, that you are taking on the government head on and it could lead to consequences, slyly, in an underhanded way, etc. So the first alarm bell that rang was if the Home Ministry or somebody out there is attempting it, then it's something that I'm aware of and it shouldn't be attempted. But in the morning when I woke up to see just so many of us getting it, it became pretty clear who the state actors are. Who has the kind of funds that Apple is insinuating? It says they are people with deep pockets who have entire state support and are very technologically advanced to attack in a manner which you wouldn't even know. And who can do that? And let's say, for instance, let's say, okay, we don't attack our government. We think that it's some international state agencies which are doing that. So it doesn't that also become the responsibility of our central government to ensure our data is safe and secure, especially those who are in opposition? Who will be answerable to the people of this country? And if I have to submit my phone, who do I submit it to? Apple says my phone is being surveilled by the state agencies. So should I hand it over to them? Hello, please check if you all will give yourselves a clean sheet. So that is where the problems arise. That those who and if you look at the names that have come up, those who have got this message are those who are vocal opponents, whether inside the parliament, outside the parliament, as spokespersons of political parties which are in opposition.
But can I ask you to respond to the IT minister? Those are some of the names and faces on your screen who have received a similar alert. And indeed, the four that you see on the screen, including yourself, are critics. But there are also other names. Samir Saran, you have sort of collaborated with him on projects in the past. He's with the Observer Research Foundation. He's not seen to be a critic. There are journalists based out of South India, southern states, who are professionals, but are not necessarily seen to be critics. Do you necessarily see a pattern, and is the pattern because you don't see a BJP member of parliament here?
No, listen, you are letting them off the hook because of one of two or four names that are coming up, as compared to the names of so many opposition members that have come up. And how is it that those who are in the government, none of them have received this notification? So I don't even need to join the dots. I don't think people also have a question in their mind. It is a known, we have seen enough investigation reports on Pegasus and investigation reports coming from, and every nation where Pegasus was reported coming from, every nation took action except for India. India had some judgment given by the Supreme Court, and we still don't know what report was submitted to the Supreme Court. So just dismissing it as, oh, opposition is attacking, oh, because of Samir Saran got it, and Samir Saran doesn't usually vocally criticize the government. So it is a false alarm. Then I beg to differ here. We have been facing
Let
the
me
consequences, whether through agencies being undermined, or through arrests, or through, raids that happen every day. And now this.
I want you to respond to two statements that have come from two, where Priyanka's probably reconnecting there, but there were two different statements that there's Priyanka back. Two different statements, Priyanka, that have come from two different BJP leaders. One is the IT minister, Ashwini Vaishnav. Uh, uh, Ashwini Vaishnav went on record to say, to call all of you compulsive critics, but he said an inquiry has been ordered. He also referenced the fact that Apple's own language was what he called vague. I'm quoting him, and that a similar advisory had been issued in 150 countries. The government is also quoting some Apple statement. Nobody's very clear right now when this statement was issued, talking about how some are false alarms, sometimes the attacks go undetected. I'm sure you've seen these reports as well. How do you respond to A, what Mr. Vaishnav has said, and B, the quoting of the Apple statement that is being widely quoted and referenced in the media at this moment? Priyanka.
So two things I'd like to say here. So the IT minister can continue making any accusations as he wants, but the responsibility lies with him. The buck stops with him and the Home Ministry as to how our data stands to be compromised. And Apple has very clearly said it is a state-sponsored attack. So which are the state agencies? That would be their responsibility to answer, not mine, not mine to give. I've only reported something that has come, and I feel my phone is compromised and my data is compromised, and it's the duty as the IT minister and for me as a citizen of India to expect the basic fundamental rights given to me are not denied to me. Now, very clearly, the statement that they're reading out and which came out in the media that Apple has issued a statement, I've only got to know now that it is a statement of 22nd September. There is no statement issued by Apple, and that 22nd September statement is being used by the IT minister to clarify their stance. And even in that 150 countries, they are saying that they cover the length and breadth of 150 countries to, to inform those countries where they feel that such attack is happening. It nowhere says that they've sent it at one go to all these 150 countries. So A, 22nd September statement. B, 150 countries thing that I've just explained to. Third, about the statement being vague. Apple, in its own statement to us, which is a long statement, which is telling us do's and don'ts. It's even giving us a hotline number to reach out to in case we see a massive compromise of data. It very clearly says that, state-sponsored attackers are very well-funded and sophisticated, and their attacks are constantly evolving, due to which their statement is vague and they will not be able to divulge more information of what they found, because the state actors which are working at the behest of state agencies will be alerted to what has been found. And they'll only get more sophisticated. They'll only try to bypass the system. That is why it is vague. You cannot do away with the fact that members of parliament have got this. And there's a serious breach of, compromise here. And there's something that needs to be investigated thoroughly.
Now, Ravi Shankar Prasad, another BJP leader, he held a press conference, and when he was responding to these comments, and by the way, the Apple statement was 22nd August, Priyanka. I just wanted to look that up, and not even 22nd September. We do not yet know whether a new formal statement has been issued today, but it's certainly circulating in the media. But my question to you was, Ravi Shankar Prasad said that the opposition should cooperate. Rahul Gandhi in the past has refused to hand over his phone. Now, you made a similar point that you believe your phone is compromised. You believe somebody affiliated to government is responsible for that. So you will not hand over your phone. In that case, what do you expect the government to do? You've written to the topmost the heads of government. What do you want the government to do at this point?
I want the government to tell us how come such data breaches happen. And how is it that Apple is sending out this alert with this confidence that it's a really sophisticated attack being attempted by state agencies? So I'm not making this up. I'm not saying that, this is my government. It is Apple which is alerting me to this high-end surveillance technique that has come across, and they're alerting us about, and that their vector has identified. So they cannot justify it with a 22nd August statement. And again, I repeat, when Apple is telling me, the phone manufacturer is telling me it is by a state agency, how can I hand over my phone to a state agency for them to give themselves a clean chip? There has to be a very free and fair investigation, and they have to bring in some tech experts, because today it is our data, tomorrow it could be anyone else's data. And this attempt to silence people and this fear that they instill that, oh, we know what you're doing at any given point in time, I think goes against the very ethics of how democracy functions. Either you say we are a surveillance nation, we are a dictatorial nation, and only one man will speak his mind out. The others have to fall in line, which I'm sorry, I've not been born to do that. I was born in a free, independent, democratic, and constitutional country, and I will continue to strive for it.
What